It is good, yo. It's your boy Ty back here with another video, and in this video today, we're going to be ranking some of the best Galaxy Opals in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM on a tier list. Now, somebody asked me, Ty, why don't you just do it all together? It's just there's too many cards and too many really good cards in NBA 2K22 MyTEAM. So, I mean, I like breaking it down by specific tiers. If you did miss the Dark Matter tier list, make sure to go check that out because those are the best of the best players. But we do have some really good Galaxy Opal players in here as well. And man, make sure you guys do smash that subscribe button. If we are new, we got a little less than 70 players to get through. Hopefully we can get through it relatively quickly. I don't plan on spending too much time here, but Anthony Davis, guys, is an S tier Galaxy Opal in my team. We're due to get a new Anthony Davis soon and expect a new one maybe to even be an invincible AD. It really wouldn't surprise me at this point of my team. But we got an add a position AD here who is really tall and has a really smooth and good release in my team. Is he going to be the best shooting guard small forward in the entire game? No, but I mean, at 6'10", he is a very solid option. I do think he is S tier when it comes to Galaxy Opals. Bill Walton is not horrible, but is he good? Not really. I mean, 6'11", 7'3" wingspan is fine. 3-ball honestly isn't that horrible. But he doesn't come with a ton of badges. His release isn't on very quick. He's not a perfect card by any means, and that's why he's going into C tier. Is Bill Walton better than Bob Pettit? That's a question we're going to ask right now, and my answer is no, and I don't think it's relatively close. Give me Bob Pettit by a wide margin over Bill Walton. Here's the reason I like Bob Pettit. Set shots 14 on quick is a good release. Really good stat-wise. Honestly, guys, I'm excited if we ever do get a Bob Pettit with set shot 14 on very quick with a little better just overall defense. He could be solid, especially maybe if he could play that small forward position. Bruce Bowen's not great, but for this time on my team, I still think he's B tier. Like, when I say he's not great, it's just that he lacks a lot of badges. Still defensively, he's going to be one of the best on-ball defenders in the game, but he doesn't even come with unpluckable. He just lacks quite a bit. Set shot 40 on very quick's not great. He might even drop down to C tier. I know he just came out, but I'm not very high on Bruce Bowen in general. Cade Cunningham still to this day is solid in my team. I don't love him though. Everybody's like, Ty, jump shot 80 is a good release. No, it's not. The reason I don't like Cade Cunningham is because his release is so slow and so baited. If it wasn't so slow and baited, I would like Cade even more. Because I do like the Scottie Pippen move by the back. I do like the D-Rose signature combo. There's a lot of stuff that Cade does have going for him. It's just I don't really love his release. But if you can make Cade Cunningham work, if you got one with a few extra Hall of Famers, especially defensively, he is very solid in my team. Cazzie Russell, S tier. Why is Cazzie Russell S tier? You guys might be asking. Well, jump shot 3 on quick is perfect enough, guys. I mean, is it that much worse than jump shot 3 on very quick? I don't even think it's that much worse. It's a lot easier to green. Quick dribble style, Kobe, size of escape. But the defense of Cazzie Russell is the main reason I like him. It's not anything that Cazzie does on the court outside of, I can trust him on both ends of the court. I know he's 6'5", so you guys might be like, Ty, he's 6'5", he can't be that good. 6'5" with 89 interior. Trust me when I say that Cazzie Russell is pretty good in NBA 2K22 my team. Webber up next. I gotta go B tier with Webber, don't I? I mean, for a free card that came out a while ago, he's very solid. Defensively, yes, I would like Chris Webber to maybe be that little bit better. But it's not horrible enough in which I can say, dang, you can't use this card. 22 on quick is fine. It's just an okay card in my team. Not a card that's going to ultimately kill you. And just based on the next couple of players, I'm going to move things around. Here's what I'm going to do, okay? I'm going to move Bill Walton to D tier. Going to move Bruce Bowen into C tier, Webber C tier, Bob Pettit C tier. Just because I think I have to, because Christian Laettner, I think, belongs in B tier. Why do I think Christian Laettner is better than the guys we've previously talked about in Bob Pettit and Chris Webber? Really, jump shot 31 with release 5 upper is one I like a little bit more. And I just think he's an overall more complete player because I don't know. I like his player build more. He can play the power forward position. I love his release. I've used Christian Laettner a lot, and I've preferred him to Chris Webber every single time. Cincinnati's Powell up next. Talk about an absolute letdown. I mean, when this card first got released, everybody was like, oh my goodness, this card is so good. Oh my goodness. And it's just his player model. It's not even his stats. His stats are fine. It really is his player model, and I don't love his movement. I'm sorry, Cincinnati, you're going into C tier for me. I don't see it out of you. D'Angelo Russell is S tier. You're not convincing me he's not S tier based on what I have seen and what I've done with D'Angelo Russell. I mean, I picked him up on my No Money Spent and have never looked back. Ever. Defensively, one of the most underrated cards in the entire game. 6'5", good wingspan, good defense. He's going to defend with the likes of an average shooting guard in my team. He's that good on the defensive end of the court. Shoots the ball incredibly. Movement-wise is solid. I absolutely love D'Angelo Russell. Gallinari is not a card I absolutely love. Now, I'll be honest with you guys. Certain cards I love. Gallo is not one of them. Gallo based on quick is fine. Defensively, he's fine. Overall, the card is fine. He's C tier fine. I mean, he might even get moved down. We'll see. I just feel like everybody like Gallo, Weber, Pettit, throw out power forward. You're not going to notice a big difference. Danny Ferry, the new Danny Ferry, I got to go into S tier. And that's not even me sitting here gassing Danny Ferry. It's just me sitting here and saying he's a top, 7 or 8 small forward in my team, in my opinion right now. Quick dribble style, 98 on very quick, great tendencies, nearly perfect stat-wise. If you do not like this Danny Ferry, I'm wondering why, right? I don't love 98, but on very quick, it's fine. And the rest of the card is very solid. Danny Manning right where Christian Laettner is. Maybe it's just the fact that I grinded the Bracket Buster Spotlight and I have these cards. But I've used Danny Manning plenty of times and I like the card. I've used Laettner many times and I like the card too. Jump shot 4 on quick is fine. Defensively, Danny Manning can compete at the highest level. Again, maybe not the hypest name that you guys are going to want to see, but give me Danny Manning every day of the week over Cincinnati's Powell. And I don't think it's particularly close. Another S tier card is D-Rob. Now, eventually we might have to move people around. If I get too many players in that S tier, just might be what we have to do. We might have to move, some people from S tier around. But man, do I love David Robinson. I love the card. Man competes on both ends of the court. I don't mind his release. I just think as an overall Galaxy Opal, he's still one of the top in the game. David Thompson up next. Now, the big question I have, right, is David Thompson as good as Cade Cunningham? And your answer is no. Now, the interior is a little deceiving because he's got a 92 block. Jump shot 8 on quick is okay. David Thompson's okay for a point guard, but I think D'Lo's at the top, Cade's at the middle, and David Thompson's one step below. I think that's how I have to prioritize these players as I sort them by positions. I gotta sort them by positions just to keep things in order. DeRozan up next. And I got to put DeRozan right where Cade is. I'm not putting him as high as D'Angelo. That's just not happening. But I do think DeRozan, when it comes down to it, is better than David Thompson. And am I gassing him? Maybe, but he's 6'7". 6'7" with Trey Burke base on quick. Just solid overall card. Is he a card I've ever used a lot of? No. But I do at least respect what DeRozan can provide to you guys on the court. Same thing with DeMarcus Cousins. If this was the best player tier list, Cousins wouldn't be this high. But it's just Galaxy Opals. And for a Galaxy Opal, guys, DeMarcus Cousins can do a little bit of everything, right? Obviously, set shot 8 on quick is fine. You look at the stats, and he really does not have many flaws in 2K. I don't like his player model, his player build. But that's the only real flaw in the card. Here's where things get tough. If Dino's at A tier, I gotta drop Boogie Cousins to B tier. I just have to, because Dino is so much better than DeMarcus Cousins, it's not close. Dino might get moved up. We'll just see how many Galaxy Opal players I have, but Dino is one of those things. Is he as good as D-Rob? In my opinion, no, but it is super close, like really close, and so that's the hard thing for me. We've got all these solid power forward centers in my team. Dino is super close to being S tier. Dolph up next, and I think Dolph is what B tier should be. Now, maybe Dolph might get moved down. We'll have to see. But I think Dolph might give you enough, right? You're looking at it. He's only got jump shot 38 on quick, though. I mean, I'm moving Dolph down. I'm sorry. Is Dolph even better than Chris Webber? Probably by a little bit, but he doesn't even have jump shot 38 on very quick. Sorry, Dolph is not what the peak diamond Dolph was. He's not that good for his specific time. A card who is good for his specific time is Dorian Finney-Smith. This card is close to being at S tier, and he might be S tier. I'm going to do it. I'm sorry, guys. If you don't want to put Dorian Finney-Smith in S tier, you don't have to. But this card is an all-around player, and my team is nearly perfect. Now, we'd like to see it with more overall badges, but maybe like some playmaking badges. This card is it in my team. And if you did grind the playoff, challenges, you got a really good Galaxy Opal in DFS. Up next, guys, we do see Galaxy Opal Dwayne Wade, and he's got to be S tier too. I'm trying to figure this out because we've got, like, the elite of the elite here is D-Lo, D-Wade, you know, all these cards, but eventually I'm going to have to move some people down from S tier because I do not want more than 10 people in S tier, and we already have 7 up here. But when you look at the rest of this list, how many more people are there going to be added? I don't see that many more elite cards on this list, so I think we're just doing fine. I think it is the elite of the elite that we've gotten through so far, but I think D-Wade is a better D'Angelo Russell on current gen. I'll take D'Angelo on next gen, but I love both these cards as my point guards at S tier. Eddie Johnson is not bad in my team, but my whole thing is this. Is he a B tier player? Sure. I think he is. Now, anything above B tier, I think you're gassing it. But I haven't seen many Eddie Johnsons. But if you have Eddie Johnson specifically, you got a decent enough shooting guard in my team. And a card I do think is better than Bruce Bowen. Elgin Baylor up next. And am I gassing it by putting him in B tier? Maybe. But here's my whole thing with Elgin, right? There's no flaws in the card. There's just not. Brook Lopez based on quick. Sure, if that wants to be your flaw, then I guess. But defensively, the card's going to get it done, and I'm not moving him from B tier. He's at minimum a B tier player, maybe moving up to A tier. He's that good in my team. Grant Hill, the reason he's on this list, guys, is because I do know he was a free card that you could get from Grinding My Team Unlimited, and you can't sell him. So if you got Grant Hill, how good is he? Well, I think he's basically as good as Bruce Bowen. Here's the difference in the card. Grant Hill's released on normal timing. Bruce might be a little better defensively. Grant's a little better finishing. Grant's a little bit taller. I just don't think you can separate the cards. I do think they are both C tier caliber. Hakeem Olajuwon is A tier. Is Hakeem better than DeMarcus Cousins? In my opinion, yes, and I don't think it's particularly close. So if that's your argument, I'm sorry, Hakeem is better than Boogie. Hakeem definitely does belong in A tier. We're due for a new Hakeem. Probably should be coming decently soon, but that Hakeem still is solid. Whiteside is horrible. I mean, this card, as far as the token reward, is horrible in my team. Am I gassing it? Maybe. But set shot 13 on normal timing. What release even is this? I don't know. It's horrible, man. Big dribble style. Defensively, he's fine, but he's not even that great defensively. He is D tier. He might even be F tier by the end of this. Sigma is a card who's not F tier, and we're going all the way up to A tier with the card. Again, right below S tier because I do still think a guy like David Robinson is that little bit better. But Sigma, smooth release. You're going to see him ran in comp. I think you see me run him on my Xbox account. He's 20K and one of the best players on this overall list. He's that good in my team. I got to move Dorian Finney-Smith down for the time because A tier is the elite of the elite. Like, A tier is not bad at all. Jamal Crawford, I don't see it in Jamal Crawford. Why? He's a really fun card to use, sure. But that's about it. His player model is not great. Defensively, not great. Yes, he can cook people with the Trey Burke based on quick and good dribble sigs, but that's about it. If you're talking how good a player is, Jamal Crawford is B tier. Card who's better than Jamal Crawford is Jason Kidd. And because of that, I'm going to move DeRozan down. Also going to move David Thompson down a tier. Why is Jason Kidd so good in my team? I'm going to start by saying it's not his release. His release is not horrible, but it's not great. 95 3 ball, but look at the defense. That's really what I want to talk about. 95 interior, 98 interior, great defensive stats, great playmaking. He just can move really well too. Just underrated in my team. Now, if you get him the duo, oh my goodness gracious, does he become way better in my team. Now, that's obviously gassed because most people aren't going to run Kenyon Martin, but just as the base card, J-Kidd obviously at A tier. Another card that has a duo is Jason Richardson. Without the duo, I think you're looking at a B tier card in my team. I wish his release was on very quick. It's only on quick. That's what bugs me because with the duo, if his release was on very quick, guys, you'd be looking at an absolutely incredible card in my team. Like, his duo makes him just a lot better badge-wise. Still the base card, you can definitely use him and have some success with. Definitely deserves that B tier stand. And Jason Williams, I'm throwing into D tier. Is the card horrible? No, he's not. Okay, 6'1", decent enough interior. An absolute cheese ball with jump shot 3, quick dribble style, Kobe say, escape, Scotty behind the back. He's a cheese ball. But that's about all he's going to give you. And I'm not trying to sit here and slander Jason Williams because I know there are a lot of people that do like the card. But I mean, my whole thing is outside of that release and maybe his movement a little bit, does he really give you that much? Short answer, no. Jaylen Brown up next, another B tier player, right? Right ahead of that Bruce Bowen type level, JB. Do I think he's better than Jason Richardson? Yes, but I don't think it's by enough to put him any higher. Now, Jaylen Brown dropped 40 the other night. He needs a big night tonight too, but in my team, I would just like to see the jump shot 75 on very quick. His release is just that little bit baited. Can't be any higher than B tier for the time. Jeremy Grant, for a time, is a card I absolutely love. I mean, I absolutely love and adore Jeremy Grant for a specific time. That time is just not now. Defensively, offensively, just fine. Quick dribble style, 62, obviously is a solid release. But for today's game, he is B tier. Next up, guys, we see Jermaine O'Neal, another really solid option. I've said it since day one, okay? Dino, Jermaine, Sigma. It's preference between those three. You can't go wrong. All three of those guys are really solid, and they're all A tier. I would rank them. They'd be at the top of A tier too. Those guys are all super good. Jonathan Isaac's a really tough one because it's like, where do I draw the line? Okay, and it's so tough because the difference between Jonathan Isaac and Danny Ferry is not large. The difference between at the power forward position, Danny Ferry or Jonathan Isaac and Jack Sigma, I'd probably prefer Jack Sigma. So it's really tough for me. I think right now I gotta move Jonathan Isaac down, but man, I don't want to. I love Jonathan Isaac. Kenya Martin's base card, guys, is not great for this specific time. And that's not me saying he's bad. It's just me saying for this specific time of my team, he's not as good as he once was. Now, you give him the duo, obviously, that helps him out a lot in general, especially badge-wise. Gives him Chase the Artist Worm, Bullet Passer, some other badges. But for today's game, I mean, base Kenyon Martin, I'm sorry. He's C tier. For today's game, he is. And you guys don't have to agree with me. But those are just the facts. KD is still B tier. And I'm not trying to sit here and gas KD 24/7. But for what it is, he's still B tier. I don't even hate KD's release. Defensively, he's just fine. He's still at a B tier caliber of player for today's game. Kevin Love. Man, Kevin Love's either at the bottom of A tier or the top of B tier. I'm going to go the top of B tier. Here's why, okay? The power forward position is just so strong, in which Jermaine O'Neal, Dino, and Jack Sigma are all just that little bit better than Kevin Love, right? They just are. It's that simple. Now, with Isaac Okuro's duo, Kevin Love becomes the best. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not saying I ran the duo. I'm just saying if you want to run the IK Love Okuro duo, it makes these cards or these guys really, really solid. The Looney Tunes is really solid in my team, and I'm putting him in A tier. You guys, again, this might be one you guys don't like or don't agree with. Is Looney as good as Jack Sigma and Jermaine O'Neal? Maybe he's not. Why? I'm going to move him down. He's only 6'9". Looney's really good. He's only 6'9", though. Not a great shooter. Not as good as Dino, Jermaine, and Sigma. It's that simple. I still do like Looney, though, in my team. Clay, still to this day, is a B tier shooting guard, borderline A tier. My question is, do I like Clay more than Jaylen Brown? Yes. Do I like Clay more than Jason Richardson? I think so. I still don't think he's, that great, right? And we're due for a new Clay that probably is going to get his release on very quick. But this Clay is still very solid for his time. I know we got a lot of players in B tier, and we might have to move some players around. I'm trying to look for a worthless player, and I honestly don't really see one. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move Hassan Whiteside to worthless, because I really do think he is. Kuzma up next. Kuzma is A tier, right? Right in there with Jonathan Isaac. Now, it's really preference whether you prefer Kuzma, whether you prefer Jonathan Isaac. I'm not even going to be the one to sit here and tell you who you should prefer. What I am going to sit here and tell you guys is, or ask you guys, is who do you guys think's better? I mean, they are basically the same cards, both 3-and-D, straight up and down at least. They're both really solid. Isaac's probably going to be better defensively. Kuz might be a little better on the offense end of the court. Lamar Odom, I don't think is quite as good as those guys, but I think he belongs more in A tier than a tier like with Jeremy Grant. Now, again, I do prefer Kuzma. I do prefer a guy like Jonathan Isaac to Lamar, but it is all preference based, and you guys might have more success with Lamar Odom. Getting through it, guys. We only got 2 more lines left. Magic Johnson's Galaxy Opal. Again, not the Dark Matter Magic. We're looking at the Galaxy Opal Magic. Here's the deal, though, guys. Is the Galaxy Opal Magic bad? No. He's still fine. Is he as good as the Dark Matter? No, but he is still a B-tier point guard in my team. And you can't convince me otherwise. The dude is 6'9" at the point guard position. Really solid defensively. Manu Ginobili is making this tough. I think I gotta go A tier with Manu. And that's coming from a guy who doesn't even love Manu. I don't love Manu Ginobili. That's just a fact. But I can respect what he can provide you with the XM base, shift dribble style, Scotty Pine in the back. I never really had that much success with Manu, but I respect it. Did it skip all the way to Oscar? Galaxy Opal Oscar is still A tier. Now, Dark Matter Oscar makes this Oscar look horrible, but he's not. This Oscar is still really good. Still got quick dribble style, 49 on very quick. The difference between this Oscar and the Dark Matter is not that much, but I mean, it is enough to make it a difference. And it's just quite honestly that simple, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Marc Gasol for this era, C tier. He's not as good as DeMarcus Cousins, but he's still a big body that is not going to get mashed. And that's about as all I can say for Marc Gasol. I don't love his release. He's not great in my team, but if you do want to run Marc Gasol, I'm putting him at C tier. The Strus is loose. We're putting him at C tier. Look, for Max Strus, it's one of those things, guys. Release-wise is really good. Shooting badges, every one of them in the game. That's what he provides for. And he's not even that bad of a defensive player. He's only 6'5", though. I can't be any higher than C tier. But if you don't think Strus is C tier, I will argue with you for a very long time. Mike Miller up next. We're looking at our first A tier shooting guard. Why is he A tier instead of B tier? There's multiple reasons. First, he's 6'8", okay? Second of all, there's really no flaws. Defensively good, offensively good, playmaker-wise solid. Shifty dribble style. I know his dribble six in between aren't great. 22 on very quick is solid, though. Again, there's really no flaws for Mike Miller. And as far as an all-around shooting guard, I think he's better than JB, Clay, and Jay Rich. Big Yao is going all the way into A tier, right? I'm going to compare him to more Hakeem Olajuwon than David Robinson. Yao is still a cheese ball. Even as a Galaxy Opal, he's still a cheese ball, right? But because we've seen the Dark Matter Yao, we've seen how this Yao can be a liability at times. Only putting him in A tier. It's crazy to think he is still A tier. Still to this day, though, which is just absolutely ridiculous. His longevity has been crazy to see. Morris Peterson up next, and I'm putting him in B tier. Nobody is convincing me otherwise. I might have been higher on Morris Peterson than anybody else when the card first came out, and I'm still high on him. Good release. He's 6'7", can play the 2, be in lanes. He is still a B tier caliber player for this era. Paul Arizin up next, and I'm going C tier. A lot of people like this card. I do think he's much better on current gen, I believe, than next gen. But it's 95 on quick, which is okay, but I don't know. I've used the card. I didn't have that much success with him. Is C tier a little low? Maybe. I just don't love the card. Paul Millsap, another B tier small forward. Whether you prefer Paul Millsap, Jeremy Grant, KD, it's all preference. And I know I say preference a lot this year, but 2K balance-wise has done a really solid job at preference, right? They're at, making cards pretty similar. Paul Millsap is very similar level to those other type of cards. Paul Westphal, for a point guard, guys, is B tier. Why is he not A tier? Maybe he is A tier. You know what? Maybe Paul Westphal is A tier because I think he belongs more at that tier than at a tier like with Jamal Crawford. Why? Ray Allen based on very quick, shifty dribble style, Kobe's size of escape, really solid defensively, and I'm keeping him at A tier. I don't have Paul Westphal. I've never used the card, but I do think he belongs at A tier, and so does Wreck-It Ralph Sampson. We might need to move some players up to S tier eventually, but Ralph probably will not be one of them. He's still my center on my no money spent, probably going to get replaced soon, but I don't mind the card at all. Again, if you do get him the Hakeem duo, makes him a way better shooter, just a better card in general. But I've been using Ralph since, for basically 2 months now, and he's been a solid center for me. Reggie Lewis, man, I like you, but you're right with Klay Thompson in B tier. But the fact that Reggie Lewis is still B tier on our Galaxy Opal list shows a lot about how good this card was for a specific time. You really still, to this day, can't find any flaws with him. I just wish they would have given him quick dribble style instead of shifty. I think that would have made me a lot higher on Reggie Lewis for his time. Rudy, man, I'm going A tier with you. I don't know if this is right or wrong, Rudy, but I still think you belong right in the tier of Jonathan Isaac. Rudy based on quick dribble style, Scotty behind the back, defensively very solid. He is still really solid in my team, especially for a card that came out 2.5 months ago. So right now, guys, I'm looking at my guys remaining, and I don't see one player. I don't see anybody that's going to go into S tier. So I said before I wanted 10 players at S tier. So let's start with the guy I moved out of S tier, Dorian Finney-Smith, moving back into S tier. But it's tough. Is DFS better than Jonathan Isaac? I don't know. Okay, I really don't know. But if I'm doing this, Sigma's got to go up for sure. Okay. I think Dino's got to go up for sure. And I'm going to do it. Jermaine's going up for sure. Okay, these are my 4 and 5 power forward center. Okay, I think that's where they belong. Because of that, I'm gonna move Kevin Love up because I do think K Love belongs at A tier more than anybody else I see at B tier. And then it gets difficult. So we really need one shooting guard or small forward. So if there is a shooting guard, small forward that I do think belongs up there, I think it's either DFS or Jonathan Isaac. I'm taking DFS into S tier. Free guard bias, sure, I'll say it for this time. Scotty Barnes, when he is evoed, is really solid. Solid enough all the way to go into S tier. Or not S tier, A tier. Him and Rudy, really preference based when Scotty does become evoed. Scotty still only 6'7". It's his biggest downfall. Gets great sigs once you do evo him. Becomes a really solid card. Scottie Pippen. I love Scotty, but he's only at B tier. I love him. And the only reason I really love this Galaxy with Scotty so much is because I had one with like 90 Hall of Fame badges. I'm just joking. He had 40 Hall of Famers though, which made me like him even more. Just a B tier shooting guard in my team. Sharif, wherever Paul Millsap is. I mean, I think that's as simple as I can put it. Whether you prefer Sharif or Millsap or KD, they're all the same skill level. Sean Kemp was an absolute cheeseball. He was like our first power forward that could move a little bit. But I'm sorry, for today's game, I just don't really see it. I don't. I'm going to move Looney Tunes up as well because I do think Looney's better than Kemp. Kemp is okay, but his release isn't great. Defensively, he's just okay. At 6'10", I'm not loving what I'm seeing out of Sean Kemp for today's game. Sean Marion, look, I don't like his release. But, I mean, look, I can't put him in. I can't. His release is so poor, I cannot put him that high. I just simply can't. I can't do it to myself because he's not even better than a guy like Covington. He's not better than Jonathan Isaac. He's just not. 39 is just not it with his bait or his release. Just disgusting to even think about. Steve Francis, I'm going to put in B tier, right with Jamal Crawford. Why? Because they are the same. They're both fun to use. Are either of them comp? No. I mean, whether you prefer Steve Francis, Jamal Crawford, that's really preference-based. I've had decent success when I've used Steve Francis for fun type modes, but not competitive modes at all. Tim Duncan up next, and I'm putting Tim Duncan in A tier. Maybe I'm biased towards Tim Duncan, I don't know, but I like what he gives you. I mean, on the court, defensively, offensively, he's just an all-around card. Now, his release, not great. But outside of that, especially on the defensive end of the court again, Tim Duncan is really solid in my team. Victor Oladipo is not really solid. Wherever David Thompson is where I'm putting Victor Oladipo. Maybe I'm not as high on these two cards as I should be. Maybe Steve Francis and them should not be as high as them. But for me, it's hard seeing Victor Oladipo be anything more than just an okay point guard to use in comp. At least Steve Francis, Jamal Crawford, and like clutch time and stuff, you can have a little bit of fun with. Wes Unseld, I'm putting a B tier. Look, he's got Kobe's base on very quick, which is such a smooth jump shot. The problem is he's only 6'7", and that's really the only problem with the guard. If he was 6'9", I'd be super high on him. But remember, he's only 6'7". Zion, honestly, he can't be any lower. Zion is not horrible in my team. His release is horrible, yes. I 100% agree that Zion's release is horrible, okay? I get that. But outside of his release, he can do a lot of things for you. Putting him at C tier because his release is so bad. And Big Z for today's game is C tier as well. I mean, not horrible, right? It's still a usable card in my team, but man, is he ever so slow. Release on normal time, he's not very good in my team. So I know I don't got too many cards in the lower tiers, but I mean, anybody C tier or above I think is usable. A tier and above are cards like, okay, you can definitely use them and have a lot of success with. So any card lower, B tier or lower are cards I've been just like, not super high on, wouldn't suggest using anymore. But A tier and higher are cards, that are really solid in my team. I want to know your thoughts on my tier list down below in the comments. I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to disagree with a lot of what I had to say today, but that's what makes it fun, and that is all okay. Drop a like on the video, subscribe if you are new, and as always, man, I love you guys. Have a blessed day.